Miles Morales Spider-Man number 19, also known as Ultimate Spider-Man number 259. What an issue. This is jam-packed with a lot of stuff. I'm not going to go through beat for beat for copyright purposes, but what a crazy issue. So, if you're not aware of what's going on in the sort of teenage champion status quo, there's this operation, this initiative, if you will, called Cradle, and it's basically like Civil War, but for teenagers, in that anybody under the age of 21 is considered a teenage superhero, and therefore they'll be arrested on sight for enacting superhero privileges, I guess. Basically, if you're a superhero under the age of 21, you're arrested under the Kamala Act, which was enacted by the United States Congress after the injury and subsequent coma of Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. If you want to read that, you can find it in Outlawed number 1 from a few months back, and the subsequent tie-in issues, like the last couple issues of Miles Morales. But basically, in the last issue, some kids in Miles' school, some of his friends at the Brooklyn Visions Academy, were unrightfully detained for standing up against Cradle. Basically, a peaceful protest, if you like. And the parallels to real world are there, but I don't think they were intentional necessarily, because this is written, or at least the story was set up before all of that business started happening. But yeah, you can see the creative team here. So they've been absconded. Miles Morales has been absconded, and so has his uncle. Now, if you've been reading this series for a while, or if you've been keeping up with it in any way, shape, or form, this is the Assessor, and basically in issues 7 and 8, I believe, 7, 8, 9 maybe, he was torturing Miles via exertion and electrification and so forth, and running tests on his biomechanics, basically how he operates, how he functions, how his metabolism works, how his powers work, all that sort of stuff. And as a result, he was able to create a clone of Miles. Now, as we learn in this issue, after the fight in the previous, this clone is a one-day disposable clone. And so he dissolves much in the same way that the Jackal's clones, that is to say Miles Warren, and subsequently Ben Reilly's clones dissolved. But this clone is only designed to last a day. So while he is a clone of Miles Morales, he doesn't possess the personality traits of Miles, and he's basically subservient to the Assessor. So he does dissolve in this issue, much in the same fashion as a Jackal clone. But I believe that the Assessor is using recycled pieces of Ben Reilly Spider-Man technology. Basically, that is to say that he mentions something about U-Tech, which is, I believe, a reference to New U, which was the company developed by Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider, also known at the time as the Jackal, which was an improved version of the Jackal's cloning technology invented by Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider, formerly Spider-Man. And so, basically, Ultimatum gets to talking to Miles, and his uncle's also been kidnapped as leverage against Miles. And basically, Ultimatum talks to Miles and unlocks the memories of the Ultimate Universe for Miles. So now Miles, in this issue, is starting to remember his life in Ultimate Comics Spider-Man and everything that happened in the 1/6/10 Ultimate continuity, which is really interesting. And I'm excited to see that in the future. And so basically, Ultimatum, which is the 616 version of Miles Morales, is trying to restore balance by sending all of the Ultimate Universe refugees back to the Ultimate Universe, which is where he acquired much of his suit and technology. You can see Iron Man's boots, and on the other side, Iron Man's gauntlet, as well as Giant Man's costume and Cap's shield. Um, so right now in the Ultimate Universe, Peter Parker is leading the Ultimates, and so I really want to get back to that reality soon and see exactly what he's been up to since he became leader of the Ultimates. But so Captain America basically shows up. The Congresswoman who's opposing Cradle at the Brooklyn Visions Academy went to the jail at which the students were imprisoned unrightfully, and calls Captain America. And there's a really great scene where Captain America shows up and he basically like tells them what for, and convinces them to let go of the students. By the way, this is a portal to the Ultimate Universe. So the Ultimate Universe is so close to our grasp. It's right there. That's the Ultimate Universe through that portal, that transporter. And so basically what happens is the students are released. Captain America gives them this really quite sweet speech, very real, very human speech, basically where people say, Captain America talks about how people call him an idealist and a Boy Scout and all this stuff. And he says that he's just like a guy, and it's a battle all the time with all the horrible stuff he's seen in the many years he's lived. It's a constant battle not to be a cynic, but people like those students who are willing to stand up for their rights and the rights of others inspire him and help him carry on being Captain America. And so that's really sweet and really kind and very, very real in a way, because you think of Captain America as this like unfaltering optimist, but he does struggle with humanity and the idea of optimism and hope as well, just like any other human would. It's a very Spider-Man moment from Captain America. But anyway, so Prowler basically tricks Ultimatum, and they escape, and as they're fighting, the Miles clone is starting to sort of degenerate. And what happens ultimately, as I stated, is the clone disintegrates. And if you're familiar at all with the Clone Saga or the Clone Conspiracy, this will remind you very much of the death of, say, Ben Reilly the first time around, or any number of clones via the Jackal process that have died or dissolved. And so, the end of the issue is basically a splash of all these little goblin minions, and basically these goblin minions are, I believe, the Ultimate Green Goblin and Ultimatum have teamed up, and basically they've produced this drug with Ultimate Norman's Goblin Serum that turns normal people into subservience, but goblinized subservience to Norman and Miles' ultimatum. And so that's where the issue ends. There's a really great issue, or this really great cover for the next issue. We have Ultimate Green Goblin and Miles and Captain America fighting all these little goblins, and it looks great. I can't wait. This book the series has the series has had its up and downs, but I've been really, really enjoying it these last several months. And I'm always excited to see what's going to happen next, regardless as to whether or not I love the issue on its own. I'm always kept on the edge of my seat, and I'm always excited to see where it goes. So I think the last issue was particularly charming and sweet, or perhaps the one before that. I can't remember which one it was. The last one I reviewed was one of my favorite issues by far of the series. And so with that, I will talk to you guys later. Pick this up. This is a read. I would recommend not starting with this issue though. If you have Comixology, read from like issue, I don't know, 10 onward, issue 8 onward, somewhere around there, and then catch up to this. But yeah. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.